Hey guys, what's up? It's Tyler Kluver. This is the Snapped Podcast. So glad that you're joining me. On this podcast, we're going to talk about diet, exercise, mindset, training, sports, performance, and any of the things that we discuss, me or the guests that I bring on, is going to help you get better and help you get healthier in some way or another. We're glad you're here. Sit back, relax. Let's have a day. We're back. We're back again. Wednesday. That intention stuff, right? That shit works. Go back and listen to that episode. 2 episodes back on intention, using intention to get stuff done. It's working for me so far in 2021 here. Got my sticky note on the wall here that says that it's Wednesday and I'm supposed to do a snapped podcast. So here I am doing a snapped podcast. And what is today going to be about? Well, I actually don't plan these out. I mean, I have some general topics that I've written down, like, hey, if I need to fall back on a topic, I can talk about this today. But this one was stemmed from a conversation on Twitter this morning. I tweeted about health and fitness, probably more than most of my Twitter followers would like, but they stick around for the Hawkeye football content. Anyway, tweeted about how if you aren't proactive, similar to that intentional podcast, if you aren't proactive about your diet and exercise on some base level, right? Some base level, the smallest level of putting a thought into it on a weekly basis, like as small as, hey, on Monday, I need to think about what I'm eating for the rest of the week and when I'm going to exercise. Even just putting that thought into it. If you aren't proactive to at least that level, change isn't going to happen. And that's not the topic of this podcast, but someone responded after that on the tweet. I said, it sucks that being healthy takes a little bit of work. And someone responded, and I know this guy has interacted with me in the past. He may listen to this podcast, but he responded with like, sounds easy coming from a 26-year-old. And I was like, And I'm not a person. I actually consider myself really good in this aspect of social media. I do not have that like immediate fight or flight reaction to immediately open up the tweet and respond back some sarcasm. And on rare occasion I do, but only when it's funny. I really try to understand where people are coming from, how they not necessarily misinterpreted, but how they interpreted my tweet, my original tweet or statement, and what made them respond that way, and how I can maybe change their mind or get them to see what I was intending through my tweet. And so he said, it must be easy to say for someone who's 26, a young guy who's 26. And I was like, okay, well, the background behind this is I do post the picture of my transformation a lot, where the after is, 99% of people aren't going to obtain how I look, the muscle and leanness and the body fat percentage. I'm pretty jacked in the after photo. That sounds douchey, but I am. And most people see that and they think, oh, that's what he's advertising. And really, that's just advertising, right? Like most people aren't going to get there because they're not that committed. However, the original tweet was, it sucks that health takes a little bit of work. I wasn't talking about being jacked and being 10% body fat. I was just talking about health. But people automatically jump to, oh, easy for you to say you're 26. And the overarching concept there is that people have this idea in their head that as they get older, it's just so much work to be healthy. That's kind of what he was implying. It's like, well, in your 30s, it's harder than your 20s, 40s. Every 5-10 years, it's just even that much harder to be to be healthy. And I think what he actually was saying, or what he meant, was it's hard to look like you at 26 right now when you're 56. But that was not the point of the tweet. And I actually think that a lot of people believe that the overall health concept is that much harder at 46 or 56. And it's just not. And that's what we're going to talk about here for a few minutes is people, especially those who are older and in the situation, often use the age excuse to an overextended, drastic amount. And they don't even know the science behind it. And so I want to shed some light because a lot of you are actually in your 30s, 40s, maybe 50s listening to this podcast. I have an older audience than my age group. Some are my age. But still, for those that are around my age in the 20s, this is good to know as you move forward in life. Age is an absolute, I'm going to say it, age is a bullshit excuse when it comes to you being healthy. And I'm going to back that up with some facts here. Some of this is going to be read off of a few really good sites on weight loss and metabolism that I found and that I really liked. All right, what is metabolism? Because that's really what people love to use the buzzword metabolism. Oh, well, my metabolism slows down as I get older. Okay, that's true. That's true. You think that it slows down a lot more than it actually does. Let's dive into that. Right? Metabolism is the chemical processes that go on in your body that keep you alive. It's a combination of multiple processes that keep you alive, that help your organs function, that breathing is a big part of it. In fact, a lot of the fat that you burn off your body leaves your body through your breath. Repairing cells, digesting food, all these processes, that all goes into the equation of metabolism, right? And metabolism is just really the rate at which your body burns calories. It's like your engine. If you were gonna like your metabolism is your engine, right? And it probably makes up for 80% of your daily calorie burn. Most people think like, oh, I burn most of my calories when I work out. No, not even close. In fact, excuse me. You burn most of your calories just by being alive, moving around throughout the day, breathing, sleeping. You might burn 20% of your calories through your workout if you have a kick-ass workout, right? So metabolism is your engine, all right? Do some people have faster metabolisms than others? Yes, all right? There's some factors that play into that are quantifiable, okay? You got body size, your height and your weight. Again, your age does play a small factor. Your gender, men are going to burn more fat, have a higher metabolism, buzzword metabolism, than women, just because how we're biologically made. And your genetics do play some role, right? Now, muscle and lean tissue, as opposed to fat, requires more energy to maintain. Okay, muscle is a working, I don't think this is a great way to describe it, but I like to think of it as the alive part of your body. It's moving you around. It's what's mechanically moving your limbs. When you go to walk, that's propelled by muscle action. Okay, fat is just kind of along for the ride. So the muscle tissue takes more calories to use, right? So where I'm going with this is if you have more muscle on your body, you have a higher metabolism. It's a win-win. The more muscle you put on, obviously directly is like, okay, cool, I'm more muscular. But then also you're burning more fat because you have that more muscle. It's a double whammy, right? Two-headed dragon there. As we get older, we tend to slow down on metabolism because we get fat, because America is fat. Not just America, but America pretty bad. Many people, as they get older, don't do resistance training, which we're going to get to in a second. Resistance training is the prime source of building muscle. Okay. And to the extent that I believe until you die, you should be doing some form of resistance training, to the point of like, cool, if you're in a home, like if you're in a nursing home and you're 90 years old, you need to be practicing standing up out of bed as a set, like 10 stands per day, all the way down to I'm 26 and I'm doing Olympic lifting at the very other extreme level, right? Everyone should be, it's scalable, right? That's resistance training for a 95-year-old, is standing up out of bed and practicing that muscle contraction. Everyone should be doing resistance training. Most people don't do that. And again, double whammy on the other side, you put on a little bit more fat, your metabolism slows down a little bit because of that, a little bit more fat, then you get, and now it's harder to burn. And so it's like this exponential kind of issue, right? Now, are you fat because of a slow metabolism? No. You have a slow metabolism because you're fat in some sense, right? People look at this metabolism engine kind of mystical like concept as, oh, it's just something I can't control. And it's just not true, right? Research suggests that people tend to eat more than they think they do. And when asked to write down everything they've consumed in a day, many people tend to report eating less than they actually do. More often than not, the reason you're putting on weight is not because of a slow metabolism. It's because you're eating, drinking more calories than you're burning. All about that calories in, calories out, right? What can you do to speed up your metabolism, right? So a lot of people think you can eat and drink certain foods, and maybe those have very minor effects. But what you want to focus on is being active, right? You look at these people who are super skinny, they're very lean, they're very muscular, and a lot of people will just jump to that conclusion of, oh, got a great metabolism, right? Oh, he just has a great metabolism. Like he just, I wish I had his metabolism, man. And I used to be one of those people. I wish I could bring up, if I was better at podcasting and being a content creator, I would bring up a picture of me anywhere from 16 to 22 years old. And I always thought, even before then, as a child, I was always a little bit heavier. Looking back, makes sense because of the kind of food that was in my house growing up, the amount of pop that I was drinking on a daily basis. And my genetics play a small role. People use genetics as an excuse as well. It is always that skinny guy that you're like, wow, I wish I had his metabolism. But then you should probably go a layer deeper. Look at what that skinny guy is doing. How often is he working out? How active is he? What does he eat like? Right? I would bet if you went in and did a dietary analysis, which is what I do with all of my clients, and you looked at what did you consume today and what is your estimated, we've got, and I'm going to get into this in a second, we have a really good estimated calculator online that's pretty close on estimating based on height, weight, age, and activity level what you're burning. It's not perfect, but if you took his estimated and then you took a look at what he was putting in his body, I'd bet he'd be around even or in a calorie deficit most of the time. So it turns out that metabolism, that fast metabolism, is just him being active, lifting weights, doing aerobic exercise, being active throughout the day, moving, not sitting a lot, and eating well. You can change your metabolism. Do it. And the more you do it and the more you see results, the more exponential it gets. You put on a little bit more muscle. Now it's easier to burn fat. You like to see yourself with more muscle. You like to work out. You're more motivated to work out, which burns more fat, which builds more muscle. It all, it's a, and I want to finish with the excuse of back to the front of this, the excuse of, well, when I get older, it's just harder to burn those calories off. And it is. I promise it is. And if you're a woman, it also is. But I'm going to do a quick little example. All right. If you go to tdeecalculator.net, TDEE stands for total daily energy expenditure. It's basically a formula that scientists came up with based off of doing some research that takes into account your age, your height, your weight, and then your activity level per week. Because your body will adjust to an activity level, right? So that even if you take a rest day and you didn't work out that day, because on average you are that active, your body's going to burn on that off day about the same amount, right? So you enter your stats. I'm 26. I'm a male. I'm 190 pounds and I'm 5'10". And right now, currently, I'm doing moderate exercise 3 to 5 times a week for about 30 to 40 minutes. I'm honestly on the low end. And I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's a siren in the background. So apologize. So with those statistics or those kind of data entry points, my total daily energy expenditure, the number it pops out for me, and this number means that I could eat this many calories a day and not go up, not go down. I'm going to match what I burn is 2,865 calories. 2,865. Now, only changing the age, and we're going to go drastic here. Only changing the age. And these are pretty close. They might be 200 calories off, 200 to 300 at max calories off. But that works both ways. I'm going to now change the age to a 56-year-old male. A 56-year-old male who weighs the same, 190 pounds, 5'10". So basically, this is if you just fast forwarded 30 years, and now I'm 56, I weigh the same, I'm the same height, I exercise the same amount per week, 3 to 5 times a week for 40 minutes, and you recalculate that, the new number is 2,632. That may come as a shock to some of you. Some of you are probably thinking, oh, it'll be like 1,500, 1,800. No, guys. Don't be that person that uses the age as an excuse. Here, I'll go to 66. It drops off. 66, 40 years from now, if I'm the same age, same height, same weight, and I'm still doing exercise 3 to 5 times a week for a half hour, I'm still going to be burning 2,555 calories a day. Over the course of 40 years. 40 years. I'm going to do the math here quick. I should be able to do it probably in my head. But that's only 300 calorie difference over the course of 40 years. And that comes out to about 7.5 calories a year. Now, if my math is correct and you divide that 7.5 by the original 2850 number, we're looking at like 0.1% each year that it goes down. Your metabolism is not the issue. Don't blame age for not being healthy. Are you going to look jacked? Are you going to be able to put on a bunch of muscle and be chiseled and look like the fucking Rock? No. Because that does take a lot of work to get to that level. Even at 26, it takes a lot of work. But to just be healthy, to eat a maintenance number of calories as much as you're burning and work out 3 to 5 times a week, it's not hard. You could still lose weight. That's where this all comes back to. Is now with the equation at 66 years old, if I want to go from 190 and I decide, well, I'm just too heavy. I'm 66, I'm 190 pounds, and I need to be 175. Okay. So drop 500 calories off per day. That takes you from that 2,555 number to 2,055. And you can still easily eat 2,000 calories a day, be full, lose weight, and you're 66 years old. Now, if you're a female and you recalculate that, in this equation, it takes about 250 calories off. I don't know if that's equivalent across the board. So women, you're at a 300 to 500 calorie deficit on that. Again, though, most women don't have the appetite or the muscle tissue that requires to eat that many calories. So it's all balanced out here. Don't think that being healthy is a lot of work. It's just a situation of, do you know what you don't know? And then figuring out that information. A few simple numbers, an equation that the computer does for you, and then just being able to track your food and exercising a few times a week. It's very easy. Don't blame age. Don't blame metabolism. If you have more questions, DM me. I'd be happy to talk about it. I don't care if you're 40, 50, or 60 years old. You can lose weight, look good, feel good, and be healthy. Stop making excuses. Stay hard. I'm not David Goggins, but it sounded good at the end there. Thanks for listening again, guys. Every Wednesday, a new episode. See you then.